I'm Josh Silver. I'm founder and president of Pulse Energy Technologies. I've been doing PEMF for 25 years, and I'm super excited to be here and hear a couple of the stories that you guys have experienced.
Yeah, I guess I'll jump in next, guys. I'm Cameron. I am co-owner of the Craig Group PEMF. So we have partnered with Josh. We've been working with him for the last 2+ years. We're relatively new to Josh and his role, but we've been working in the PEMF space for a little bit longer than that. I used to be a golf professional prior to getting into the PEMF world, so it's been a heck of a journey between the scale of 1 to 10, understanding it. If 1 is nothing and 10 is Josh, I don't think I can say I'm a Josh, so I've got to be about an 8.5 right now.
Perfect.
I'll jump in there after. I'm the other co-owner of the Craig Group. I'm Hannah. Nice to meet you guys. So sort of the same thing as Cameron. Just to reiterate, it's been in our life for a few years now. We used it back in Canada before we started traveling 3 years ago, but we personally use PEMF every single day. So firm believers ourselves, and the more that we learn, especially from Josh, and what's out there and what PEMF is capable of doing, the more excited we are about PEMF. So we're very hungry to learn so much more.
I'll go next. I'm Armando Rivas. I'm an athletic trainer for 27+ years in professional sports, various sports from baseball, soccer, and the NBA. It's been off and on over the years, and then obviously we had a oh shit moment last year, and I called Josh, and we needed a machine right away for the playoffs, and been reintroduced, and now it's kind of been incorporated in almost our daily living. I'm carrying my little PEMF with me on the plane all the time, so you can see me when I'm walking on the plane. I'm carrying it, and like I said, we're using it pretty frequently in the hotel room. So, and we have other players now on the team too, utilizing it every day.
That's awesome.
I guess I'll go. My name is Michael Mann. I got introduced to Josh, last spring training, when some of my friends from the Washington Nationals actually recommended him and his company. We've been using PEMF ever since, so almost 2 years now coming up. It's amazing. I use it personally. I've picked it myself not once but twice. Multiple clients. Actually, I have a client on it right now. It's life-changing, and I love everything about it. And I've looked into other companies, and if it's not from Josh, I usually don't use it.
That's awesome.
Did you pay him to say that, Josh?
You guys don't know that this has a send money feature now, like Apple Pay. So his thing's going ding ding.
Yeah, I like it.
So Scott and Julie, you guys just hopped on. All we did was just introduce ourselves and explain what our background was with PEMF, if it's day 1 or day 10,000.
Want me to go?
Yeah.
Cool. Scott Dixon, I'm a PT. Got connected to Josh through Michael. Actually have zero experience in PEMF. I'm looking to purchase a unit. I've seen it in the professional setting many times. A lot of my athletes. I work with a lot of NFL and MLB players and specialize in dry needling, but I'm excited to see how this really improves their outcomes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Me, I guess.
We saved the best for last.
Okay, so I'm Julie. I've been using PEMF since I have the Athena machine. I've been using it since August. I am a trauma-informed movement coach, so I come from a personal training background and worked with athletes for a long time, and then I migrated to just working with like everyday people who are in pain, and now I work with people who specifically have trauma trapped in their body. So I'm working with a lot of inflammation, and a lot of people that, right now, the people that I'm working with are the sick people that I work with, a few naturopaths who have been sending me clients that have Lyme, cancer, some kind of whatever's going on. We're using PEMF to see how the inflammation and just charge up their cells, and really coming at it from a immune, nervous system, and lymphatic perspective. And it's been game-changing for me, and I have a few clients that I've been like using as case studies to show, like, so my dad's a biological medicine doctor, and so I come at it from a biological medicine perspective. So we have some diagnostics that we use specifically for the nervous system and to tell if you have toxicity in the body. And so when we do before and afters, it's quite incredible to see how PEMF is actually making a difference from a biological perspective and changing people's internal terrain. So I'm coming at it like, really, it's all about the inflammation and just seeing how people are responding in different ways. So I'm learning a lot and excited to learn more, really.
So what you said was beautiful, and it transitions into the one thing we're going to have people do. And I just want to point out something that you said that's so fantastic, because there's so many people from a variety of different backgrounds. And just to give perspective of something you said that's not lost on me, Julie, is the reason those objective markers are so critical for the people that you're using it on is because we're bringing back their entire immune system, their entire nervous system, and their bodies have lost perception of if they're healing or if they're not healing. And they need these objective markers to say, hey, you may not be feeling anything yet, but here's what we're seeing in your body, and these are the changes that are happening. And that's why I think they're so important in what you're doing for that reason. And so with that, my one thing was everybody was like, well, what are we going to do in here? I said, let's just hop on here and tell our top 1 or 2 success stories about what we've seen with the machine and go from there. So if you don't mind sharing 1 or 2 of your cases, go for it. If you feel put on the spot, no problem, because I got 2 locked and loaded that I've had for 20 years.
Can I interject real quick and actually go back to her story? How long do you take for those homeostatic markers from actual initial to the actual follow-up when you actually take those objective measures again?
So everyone is different because I'm working with a naturopath. So I have some people, like the cancer people, they're getting it done. Like I have one, he gets it done every week to see how he's responding. I have like my personal client that I've been working with for 14 years. She did one back in August and she's going back this week actually. So we're doing 3 months for her. So everybody's different depending on where their results lay. And so I actually use Welltori, so it's a HRV or heart rate variability app that actually tracks total power. So that's where I have people actually showing up to their appointments with me and show me what their total power is, and that's what you'll see. So that's what happened for me, is that when I started Welltori, my total power was around 200, and it took me every daily use of 30 minutes every day, took me a solid 2 months to get me to 15,000.
Okay.
So that's where, like, so when I have people coming in 2 to 3 times a week, I tell them you're going to need a hell of a lot more time. We need more time. And that's really what's happening, because like, Cameron told me is that like, once it's charged, you're charged. You can't do more. It's just, you need frequency. I just need more time with you. Because some people will come and they'll try to jack it right up. And they're like, the stronger it is, the better. I'm like, you're not absorbing.
That's not how that works.
It's not working. So this is where we're better off. I'd rather you see me more often with shorter bouts of time so that you can actually absorb it, because the people I see are very, very, very inflamed, and I can hear it. Now I'm tuned into the sound of the machine. Like I know if you put it on your kidneys and you don't feel it through your body, I know you have a kidney meridian issue. I know now 100% if you put it on your shoulder, you have a lymphatic problem. Everybody puts it on their shoulder and they're like, right away, I know you have a lymphatic problem. So then I have to address that at the same time. So so I'm using their responses with Welltori, with the bioimpedance, and it's called a Nerve Express, with those big diagnostics to show them how much power they actually have in the system. So
is it possible to share that app?
Sorry?
Is it possible at some point to share that app and then I can share it with?
Yeah. It's just called Welltori. It's
Torrie or Tory?
Tory.
Awesome. The AI is doing a transcription, and I'll send it to everybody, so it'll be in the notes also.
Yeah. The big thing is you have to pay for the app. So that's the thing too. There's a free version, but you do have to pay for it. And there's a way. So what happens is that with it, the app is overwhelming with so much information, and I'm like, don't look at anything. So at the top, it gives you stress, it gives you energy, and it gives you health. Stress is your lymphatic system, energy is your nervous system, and health is your immune system. So what I'm looking at is a general overview of those 3 systems. You scroll to the bottom and it'll tell me total power. If you don't have any power, I don't even care what those numbers are at the top. I need to get that total power, and that's what you're watching. That's what you're looking at from session to session to session. So if you have clients constantly coming in and their power is in the red, like 2, 3, 600s, you know you're not going to heal. You're not healing very well. So we have to address the immune, the nervous, or the lymphatic system. Does that make sense?
I like this because you're the first person to ever mention using PMF as a diagnostic tool.
Yeah, I totally do.
I've only used it for just like recovery, especially with my athletes in sports. We've used it for recovery, tissue healing, all that kind of stuff. Rebooting the central nervous system. I've done that a bunch of times with some strokes, which I usually don't do neuro. But the fact that you're using it for a diagnostic tool is amazing.
Yeah. It's been just by listening and like sitting with these people and having conversations. It's like it tells me a lot about their body. A lot.
I like that a lot.
It's like, holy, but that's where you have to sit with them and you have to listen. And it's like, why? Because I had this whole conversation with Cameron and Hannah about why is it making this noise when it's doing this? And it's like, there's something wrong with the machine. I'm like, there's nothing wrong with the machine. It's them. So I'm like, what's going on? So either they're too dehydrated, they're too inflamed, the intensity is too high. So I have to look at a few factors. But I know now, you put it on the ground, you put your feet on it, you don't feel anything, you have a lymphatic problem. You have a kidney meridian energy problem. So I know I have to go after energetics. If I put it in your armpit and you're super sensitive, you have a lymphatic pump. I know this without a doubt. So now the question is, how am I going to address those systems? Mm-hmm. And that's been a game changer for me. And I've only been using it for 3 months. I'm like, what am I going to be in a year from now? I don't know. Yeah. But
I love that.
Yeah, this is
that's
really
amazing.
This is a really interesting part of this call. That's the whole purpose of having this.
This is why we're doing it.
Is you have someone like Michael and Armando in one demographic, and you have someone like Julie in a completely different demographic. I was first introduced to PEMF through that demographic that Julie's speaking to, where I worked with PEMF on older people and older patients and older clients. And that's some of the biggest success stories I've seen is at that level, because we're doing it for completely different reasons. Mm-hmm. In the athletic world, we're really trying to get these athletes back in the field faster and get them recovering quicker. And that's kind of the storytelling there. But for the older demographic, for anyone really over the age of, unfortunately, 40, 50, we all should be on these every single day. So she's got some really interesting stories. It's great to see.
No, it's super amazing because, like I said, we actually just hired a holistic nurse that's going to be with us here shortly, where she does Frankenstents and all kinds of weird stuff that I truly just don't know, that kind of holistic kind of medicine, more of an Eastern medicine approach to things. But the fact that you could use that as a diagnostic tool could help her dial in a whole lot more, because we're looking to buy a second unit, another Zeus, because spring training is coming in. We have to get ready for that because it's kind of already almost booked out.
Yeah.
Even when I split the machine.
It's very versatile. That's what we have seen. And it's very intuitive. Like Julie was saying, it can be used in a variety of different ways. And if you understand those ways, and like this, you're sharing stories, we can hear how it's working and how it's not working. Even with Josh, we've come to him with different clients saying, they've done this, they've done that. What could be the secret sauce? And Josh always has these extra little things to try. So in sharing these stories, I think we're going to see so many more success stories. I'm really excited about that. I'm a personal success story of PEMF, similar to Julie, where I had my third concussion. It was absolutely brutal, stopped me dead in my tracks. And there was so many things that the doctors had done, i.e. prescribing pain meds and Botox shots into my skull and all these different things. And I was not feeling that was the answer. So we had researched PEMF, the same gentleman that introduced PEMF to Cameron up at his golf resort to bring that into the 55 plus community. He was the one that had introduced it for my own personal use. So yeah, I was a little skeptical, to be honest, about PEMF and not knowing much going into it. Because I am that frankincense girl, and I am that, try and be as natural as possible. So anything that's outside of that, I just, so I tried it and I began using it every single day on not just my head, but my right shoulder where I had whiplash, my neck, around my kidneys, around my, lymph nodes underneath the arms, all these different things. And the results that I found were I was very happy. I was very, very happy that I was seeing results with my sleep, with my mood, my energy levels, my light sensitivity, like so many things had improved and at a rapid pace. The memory took a little longer than I would have liked, but that's okay. We're working on that. But no, I was very, very happy that PEMF came into my life, and we still use it every single day.
So I have a question. You made me think about this. This is something I experienced when I first started doing this years ago, and I tell people to be prepared. I imagine Julie has, and I'm wondering if anybody else has. Have you guys experienced a patient or a user have an emotional release during a session? A deep-rooted soul cry, like
It was awkward. Yeah.
Right, like as if it was a primal. That's the word, like a primal. Right, you guys have all experienced that with a couple people before, and then typically, if you have, they have a dramatic shift in their health situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's those energy meridians. And Scott, you can probably speak to this too with acupuncture dry needling. Like, I mean, when I used to get them, I used to have rage come forth when I was getting dry needling. Like, really, I felt so like, get me out of here. I hated the feeling. And there's been a few times with PEMF that I've definitely had big shifts.
So I'll tell my one story. I've got a million stories, but this is one of my favorite ones because I could talk about the athletes and Shaq and all those things all day long. But one that really got me deep rooted believing was this guy that came in that used the machine 2002 in the clinic in Tarzana, and he had phantom limb pain. He had a pain in his foot, and he had no leg. And he had lost it in a machete accident in the Philippines. He had done a whole bunch of other things. They had done multiple surgeries on, I guess, I'm not sure if this is the politically correct word, the stump, the area where the limb was detached. He had multiple surgeries that he had neural blocks, could not get out of pain. And my mentor, I guess I have become this way too, is become cavalier a little bit about the machine. Like when people would come in and say, oh, does it work on this? And he would just laugh and smile because he knew PEMF would work great. And this guy came in just with this twisted face, angry and in terrible pain. And my mentor, Chuck, was pretty convinced, oh yeah, we're going to fix him right away. And they brought him in the wheelchair and they put the loop on the floor where his foot used to be, not treating his leg. And within 10 minutes, this guy was having one of those deep-rooted primal cries where he was getting this dramatic pain relief. And we were this far away from any sort of tangible object that we could see. We were treating the energy field of where his foot used to be. And when you read about those or you see those videos on YouTube, you're like, yeah, whatever. But when you're there firsthand and you see that, it's sort of like a big game changer. And that let me know this was bigger than just, it was bigger than getting Shaq healthy. It's doing something into the energy field of the things that we've all experienced that we're getting deeper into something that we may not even know about. So that's one of my favorite stories to share, is seeing it on phantom limb pain. And I've seen it since on phantom limb pain on the arm too, just in case I wasn't convinced the first time that it worked on it. So that for me was a pretty remarkable one.
And then guys, what about some of your athletes? Obviously access to players is sometimes a challenge, and getting them to have buy-in is sometimes a challenge. How have you kind of worked through some of those scenarios?
I work with a pretty difficult gentleman because he hates being injured and he hates kind of going through that process. So anytime he is banged up, like we've had 2 different ankles in preseason that Josh and I kind of went through. One he's done multiple times. We've had plenty of athletes that have had multiple issues on one ankle. But he had it on his other one that he never really sprains, and it was swollen a little bit, and we're dealing with the preseason kind of stuff. And I called Josh, and he had said, hey, get a bucket, get some water in it, put some Epsom in it, and let's just see where we're seeing some results with another athlete that I recommended to the company. And it was like, it wasn't as emotional like of a change, but it was like, okay, I can play in the next couple days, or I'm going to be ready to practice in a couple days. So it was one of those moments of like, this is great. So to get his buy-in, and it's now become, it's not really a crutch. It's just like, hey, you're traveling with the unit, right? Like, and that's for him goes a long way. He's been playing for 15 years now, and I've been with him for 13. This is our 13th year. And it's literally the buy-in for him. And he is, some things are routine and there are other things that are not. He is very in tune with his body, how he feels. So on a daily basis, it'll be like, hey, I need this. But it's always funny because when we leave to the airport, he goes, do you have my unit? Yes, I do. And then it's just like this smile. Okay, cool. And, a lot of times, and then going back to some of the central nervous stuff, like even just putting him on something that's sore, his knee, right now we have a glute contusion that he's listed on the game report tonight. So like he'll just sit on it, but I see sometimes that it helps him to just kind of like get away from some of the other things he has to sit still for a little bit. And I do see a difference after he gets off the machine of just general like in tune and talkative and with us and conversation. So I do think it helps with the reset for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Is he mainly now trying to move forward to using it more as a proactive approach, and he's using that modality more?
I do think so. Yeah, like we're always in our field we're always dealing with low back, and we're dealing with a population that's obviously a certain height, and so we deal with a lot of backs, and we travel a lot. We get on a plane. We're going from the Bay tomorrow to Philadelphia, and I guarantee you I can suggest to them, hey, look, let's just put the machine on your back. Your back's probably going to feel a little sore from sitting in your seat, but let's just put it on. You don't have a specific issue, and a lot of times I'll be like, yeah, if I got 15 20 minutes, let's do it. So but I just feel like he's more proactive, and he's always asking to make sure I do have it. And that's huge for him, just knowing him for 13 years, because there are a lot of things that I could show you. And Josh and I always talk the garage full of stuff and in my storage unit of stuff that I have that we've used over the years, but I always keep it because there will be a day where he'll go, by the way, where did that go? Do we still have that? Yes, we do. So
before we get too far away from it, I'm not even kidding you. The only note that I had for this meeting was I wanted to share one protocol, which was the Epsom salt one that you just did.
Yep.
I'm so glad you did that. I've pushed it out a lot this last year, and I'm getting awesome feedback. If you guys don't know, if you aren't aware, it seems from interrupting the inflammatory cycle with an high or low ankle sprain with a high-end athlete to diabetic neuropathy, where we've lost sensation in the feet and the ankles. I've now seen this. Somebody did this in the arm without me knowing. And they're like, yeah, we did the same thing, except we put their arm in the bucket. And I was like, shoot, I never even thought of that myself. Great job. They thought of it on their own for an elbow. So this protocol, for most people, it really makes a difference. If you can put their feet, their arms, what have you, with warm water, a couple bags of Epsom salt, and pulse underneath the bucket. Every athlete that says, I never feel this in my feet or my ankle, we do that. We put it in there like, oh, it's so weird. I feel it in my foot now. Because that magnesium is such a conductor of the PEMF that it amplifies the signal. And then the opposite end of that is it creates the transdermal absorption of the magnesium to the cells through the skin. And that is just a dramatic effect. So we get from the neuropathy side, we get, oh my gosh, I can feel my feet warm. They're hot. They're itchy. I get sensation. And from the athlete end, I can play tonight. And so it's really becoming a cheat code that I'm trying to spread the gospel. And honestly, as we go along, I wonder if there's some sort of future application where in the high end world, somebody's going to get a little, you have your little cold plunge, and you can have your little PEMF Epsom plunge, and it all hooks up together. I don't know how, but that could be the future.
Mm-hmm. No, I just, yeah, like, and it was crazy because he wasn't feeling a lot of the pulse that you normally feel. And, the bind was a little bit like, okay, but
yeah.
When he processed it, because we do Epsom salt baths all the time. So it was like, okay, I get it. And then, it didn't have a substantial amount of swelling, but he had enough that we're like, okay, afterwards he had better function, better mobility. And he was able to kind of just start moving around, and he felt comfortable. And the more we did it, he liked it. So.
Scott, you're going to do that with pitchers' elbows. When you get to baseball, guys that they'll just dunk it in a bucket. And I'm telling you, that is going to be a cheat code. That right there.
I'm excited about it. I'm going to make sure every team I work with has one. I've seen it more in the NFL guys. I have not seen it. And I've seen it in every MLB team, but the ones I haven't seen it. But every NFL player I've worked with, either they have one or the team has one. Most of them have a personal one that they travel with. Like Andrew was talking about.
Yeah, it's starting to get there. It's starting to get there. And honestly, some of you guys know we got a couple of devices approved through the high-risk specialty workers comp programs that a lot of the teams and high-end organizations use. So now if they have a player that's injured, they can utilize the program and end up getting one, and they don't have to go fight the team for the dollars. And sometimes that's the biggest challenge, is getting the team to commit or pay for something. Now if the player can do it or the agent can do it, easy. It takes it out of the pressure out of their hands.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
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 So I want to let you guys know that this is our pilot episode of what's hoping going to be a bi-monthly networking call where we can do this, and it's going to grow. We'll probably set a regular time. We have another call with a bunch of people on the West Coast today. We're going to merge those as it goes along, and we're going to make this a private network where we can do exactly this: share stories, share protocols, behind the curtain type of Wizard of Oz stuff where people of all different PEMF practitioners of all different types can connect and really dial in what they're doing.
Cool.
Excellent. I'm excited.
Yep. Josh, would it be, if everybody's okay with it, I'd love to have everybody's contact, like at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. If everybody's okay with that, we'll this is gonna do a NAI notes and all that, and I'll email it to you with everybody's, and we'll put everybody's email or something like that so people can get connected.
That'd be good.
And then probably what we're gonna do from this, guys, I'd already thought just a little step down the road, is we're probably gonna set up a private network or messaging email listserv chain or something like that will start, where all of us now in the future, hey, what did Armando say that one time? Instead of going through there's a way we can drop in the thread, hey Armando, when we did that call, what did you say you did that one? And we'll have like a running private notes.
Cool. Thank you guys. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for all of your time. I will email you all separately and get you all the downloads from here. Does anybody have anything that they want to say before we sign off? Anything we need to add? Awesome, guys. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.